Henderson. You can call me Brad. It's more easier. And I'm currently the DBA student from AIU. I'm from China, and I completed my MBA degree in San Francisco in 2014. And after that, I started working in the financial and educational industry. And I entered into Atlanta International was 2018, and my current topic, research topic and direction is about the business change management. Today, I'm going to give you a report is about the economic globalization to combine my personal background in China and my experience in the US. So I feel very interested in the business activities between countries. So that's why I selected this topic and developed it to be a research. So today, I'm going to cover 5 parts from research introduction to literature analysis and conclusion to limitations. I'm sorry. So part 1, introduction. The economic globalization as a process of interconnecting the national economy and integrate into the global economy, in which countries can conduct cross-border business activities and improve their economics. So in currently, economic globalization has already connected most of the countries in the world and promotes their business, international trade, and provides more opportunities for new markets approach for expanding the international trade. And also the globalization is benefits to stable the world environment and improve more employment opportunities. So with the benefit of eco-globalization, the most companies, they are willing to participate into the world economy, especially developing countries, underdeveloped countries, and third world countries. However, the developed countries, they have already have a very close relationship, such like American and UK, Singapore, Japanese. Their international trade and communication has already in a very high level. So for developing countries, so they have very strong expectation and willingness to participate into the world economy. I'm sorry. The problem is although developed country is already in the top tier in the world, and developing country and third world countries, they are willing to participate into the globalization. But the problem is that most of the developing country and underdeveloped country, they cannot get an equal opportunity and starting point in the global market like developed countries due to their difference in national strength and economic foundation. And in fact, most market regulations and policies are established by the unions of developed countries. And because of the absolute and comparative advantages in international trade, the most developed country and third world country, they can only provide low-ended products on natural resources, which is an imbalanced situation compared to the developed countries. So in order to compare different parts in the world economy, I select the United States, China, and Nigeria as the 3 countries to study their economic situation and analyze the performance and role of them in eco-globalization. I'm trying to explore their commonalities and differences in developing strategies, positioning, and goals. And so the question is about what are the economic development strategies for these 3 countries in the economic globalization. I choose these 3 countries is because I personally from China, and I know China a lot, especially for the economic development and business environment. And you know that I'm living in America almost 10 years, So I know more about this country than books and from internet. And also, American is the largest economy in the world. The reason for me to choose Nigeria is because I'm very interested in its oil economic. And Nigeria is also the largest economy in the African. And we have some students come from this country. So I have the willingness to do some more research on this country. Next part will be the literature review. So many research showed that eco-globalization has positive impact on the national economic growth. And the researchers built economic globalization index to evaluate the development states of the country. The key factors in the eco-globalization index are international trade volume, foreign direct investment, GDP, import barriers, and tariff rate. However, some researchers found that there's imbalance in trade agreements between developed countries and developing and third world countries, so like the conflicts I mentioned in the problem statement. Then I will go through each of the country and to give you a background of them. So let's start with China first. China has the second largest GDP in the world and next to US, almost $15 trillion, which is about 70% of US GDP. And by the way, the US GDP is about 21 trillion. And also, China has the largest foreign investment market and the largest international trade volume. So all of those information show that China has gained outstanding achievements in the economic globalization. Some research point out that China can achieve such a great achievement in a very short time since 1978. It's because of the Chinese government provide huge support for that. Especially for national-owned companies in China, they have higher investment efficiency. And nowadays, China has a critical role in international business in the world. And the US has 25% of the GDP of the world, 11% of the international trade flows, 20% of world global equity transactions, and 20% of global energy demanded. And 35% of the global market capitalization, which all of them shows that the US is in the top position in the global market. Many research shows that the US have a very high level of globalization in economic operations, including employment, international trade, and financial activities. The United States has been in the leading position of the global market today. And if we go through more about the companies, the global companies, we're gonna notice that there are total 121 companies in the Fortune Global Top 5 are from America. And next is China, 190, second in the world. But the difference in American companies and Chinese companies is American companies, they are private companies. And most of them, they are deeply integrated into global supply chains. However, most of Chinese large companies, they are national-owned companies. Only a very few of them, they are private-owned. And besides, the financial system linkage between the US and the rest of the world is very closely. The IMF also indicated that the financial system in the US has close connect with world economics. And for Nigeria, so Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa, and the petroleum industry is the core engine of the country, which is important for both its economy and politics. Oil was discovered in 1953 in Nigeria. Until today, Nigeria is the 11th largest oil producer in the world. and oil takes about 90% of the country's export and about almost 10% of the country's GDP. However, oil prices are not stable in the world market due to many uncertain risks. And some researchers showed that the eco-globalization has a negative impact on Nigeria's oil, manufacturing, and mining sectors, but has a positive impact on the agriculture, transport, and communication sectors. From the oil producer, we can imagine that Nigeria has a huge gap between the top rich person and the common people in the society. According to the World Bank report in 2020, since 2015, because of the oil price is not stable, the Nigeria has experienced its economic recession due to the sharp drop in oil price. But because of the economic is not diverse enough, so the country has only few tools to adjust this impact. And there are about 50% of population still have living problem, which is the most challenging conflicts in the country. So based on the understanding of these three countries' situation in eco-globalization, the next part I'm gonna show how they set up their economic strategies to get benefits from international markets. Also, let's start from China. The key words for China is transforming. China plays a critical in international trade, and the Chinese government and leaders also have played an essential driving role in economic development, which has provided accumulation and breakthrough for China's integration into eco-globalization. However, China is looking for changing its position in the global platform in recent years. China is transforming itself from the world's factory into a technology exporter and providing high-end manufacturers, investing internationally, and opening up its financial markets, and also building international influence. That is what China trying to do in recent years. And also, if we look at globally, China invests about $132 billion to African and Latin American governments between 2003 and 2011, and even more after this. And President Xi Jinping's government has decided to cancel the debits from African countries. That is a huge government debit forgiveness for those African countries. And China is breaking through the traditional economic model to a depend to the depending of trade with the world development countries, upgrading its own industry chain so as to optimize its domestic economic structure and assume more global economic responsibilities. In the year 2018, the trade between United States and China reached $633 billion. It was 252 times as much as the established of relationship in 1979, and more than 7.5 times as China's joining to the WTO in 2001. As I mentioned that China just opened its market in 1978 into the global market. And before that, the country is like kind of like to close the market and only develop domestic economic. The United States is quite different with China, and it's in the top position in the economic globalization and has financial dominance, policy power, and market priority. The economic development policies and activities of the US are globally oriented. So the key strategy for the US is dominating the world and leading the market. It has always been a priority strategy for the US to maintain its central and leading role in global economic development. Thus, the decisions that the United States have made has a significant impact on the global economies, as well as other countries in terms of world economic policy. The US-China trade conflict in 2018 showed that the story behind the two countries is more like to be driven by political factors rather than economic activities or international trade. And also, the Federal Reserve's financial policies always have a very significant impact on the global financial market. Next, we're going to move to Nigeria. So Nigeria's strategy is to focus on upgrading its domestic industries, reduce its dependence on foreign economies, and free itself from the oil economy. Nigeria had joined globalization since 1980s, with the expectation that to enhance free trade advantages in financial integration, foreign investment, and technological advantages would ensure its rapid economic growth of the country. But the benefits from eco-globalization have not reached the exact expectation of the country, but have brought a lot of uncertain risks and uncontrollable influence to their society, especially to their oil industries. Therefore, the Nigeria government should continue to develop a more comprehensive economic development plan and utilize foreign capital partnership to optimize and upgrade its own industry supply chain to truly increase domestic productivity. Besides, the government and leaders of Nigeria are continue designing opening policies to attract foreign investors and Nigerians overseas to investment in their own country, and most especially in critical projects such like housing, society, medical facilities, education, and transportation. Next gonna be the analysis of these three countries. So in the process of global economic analysis and rule study, the comparison of multiple countries can be more effectively to show the commonalities and difference between these cases. So what they have in common is that all of the governments have made strong intervention to face the economic globalization. And even United States is a highly developed open market country. The Federal Reserve still make a very important, a critical role to control the world economy. But the three countries' role and positioning in the global economy are very various with different strategies. For China, they're gonna still be more open to the integration of economic globalization, and the emphasis is unchanged. The key point of the United States is to maintain its leading position in the world and formulate international economic strategy. For Nigeria, the government needs to pay more attention to domestic constructions and explore international market channels to replace the single economic model of the oil industry. Then the next will be the conclusion and limitations. Start with conclusion first. So we know that the different countries they need to adjust their strategies and decisions in economic globalization according to their own conditions. They should not blindly participate and ignore their own weakness, which will make the economic structure very dependent on the external market and lose control over it. Developing and third world countries need to look for reliable partners when dealing with international corporations. Many researchers have concluded that trading with developed countries can significantly increase economic growth. Also, governments need to hold the responsibility of supervision and guidance in facing eco-globalization, which is very necessary. And the limitation. So I only selected qualitative approach to analyze those three countries, but didn't adopt specific and detailed quantitative methods to compare and study their economic data, including trade volume, such like that. Therefore, for further research, it is suggested that to choose a specific foreign trade structure or economic model to analyze economic globalization's development between countries. Also, a specific economic policy or business activity of the United States can be tracked and analyzed to find out the policy purpose and response of each country by exploring its impact on the global economies, or other countries, such as the recent 1.9 trillion package or the Trump administration's trade conflicts with China, Europe, or Japan. Besides, international supply chain research is also recommended. So based on the international supply chains, we can analyze the international trade degree, status, and the potential of the target population. So this is all about my research, and thanks for listening.